Oh, man. Hey, sons, I was just checking out the Wii U. It reminds me of lobotomies. At first we used to think they were revolutionary and cool, and now we just see them as malpractice.
Man, the Wii U was a weird console, but it wasn't without merit. The console itself was ahead of its time, like modern-day Dreamcast, having features that would later become staples and add-ons in later generations and games. Cross-generational games. Honestly, a weird topic of discussion when one console is going to the next console. Some games are gonna be caught in the mix, being able to be played on both old and newer hardware. But the Wii U to Switch was a bit of an exception, only because it went from discs to cartridges. So, games like Yoshi's Woolly World, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, even though I'm not going to be talking about them today, they weren't ported, it's one of those weird topics of conversation of, why did Nintendo port everything? Well, the answer to that is simple. The Wii U had wonderful games on it, but the marketing was terrible.
You ready for another round?
Bring it on, what's next?
Remember those lobotomies I was talking about?
But I'm a Nintendo fan. Of course I had to buy the games twice. I regret it. It's not like I need money. Nintendo can treat you so well one moment, and then the next, they hit you with $80 games. Nintendo reminds me so much of an abusive ex.
Taking my dignity, just take my money too, okay?
So, let's talk about these games one at a time, figure out what the differences they have outside of high frame rate and technical specs, even though they will be briefly mentioned.
We're mainly going to be talking about content that couldn't be found in one game, but, is found in another game. Whether it's good, bad, or gave some unique twist. We're not going to be talking about games that, unfortunately, were only exclusive to the Wii U. And we won't be talking about graphical fidelity or anything like that when talking about these games, as we'd be here forever. And, well, I don't have the time for that. How long is this going to take?
Zelda Breath of the Wild, the flagship game of the Switch, and the swan song for the Wii U, going out with one of the best games ever made in the Zelda franchise. Some would even argue it's the best. One thing I love about the Wii U gamepad is some games really do take opportunity to use the gamepad in new and exciting ways. Having the split screen be an eye-opener for any kind of game developer to do something unique with the gamepad, all the while making sure the main action still reigns on the TV.
Breath of the Wild ain't one of them.
So before the Nintendo eShop closed, I decided to piss away more money that I didn't need in college, and I got DLC, Wii games, DS games, and made sure that, there was a preserved library, and then some bastard decided to charity off, all the while preserving the Wii U and 3DS. So with Breath of the Wild getting that DLC, basically everyone switched to Nintendo Switch, but for those of you who had a Wii U, you were left with a pretty grim message of how this was going to go. After all, Link's a corporate hash, he wants to sprout the merch. Don't worry, same.
Don't have any merch yet.
On the Nintendo Switch version, you get an enthusiastic Nintendo Switch shirt. And on the Wii U, you guessed it, a Nintendo Switch shirt. Why? Because Nintendo clearly didn't want to celebrate the Wii U as much as any other holiday. Ever heard of anyone celebrating September 11th? Honestly, with not much here, I was kind of expecting a Wii U shirt just as a kind of thank you for all you've done, but clearly not. I will say it took me remembering the Great Plateau again to remember the spots, as I think this might have been the new version of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Kind of hit me in that sense where I realized this game is how old? Oh my god. I really think the Wii U gamepad could have been utilized for inventory or map management, like how it was shown back at the Game Awards, when it wasn't delayed. Or was, I don't know, this was an on-off development kind of thing. Have this feature completely scrapped where the Wii U could have been utilized in a very unique way is genuinely upsetting because it could have made it not the superior version, but a unique version all on its own. There's no motion controls as you use the Wii U Pro Controller, which is probably going to be the way most people play this, as using the gamepad, well, who wants to use this thing? It was the main function, or had any function in the game outside of if someone wanted to watch the TV, you could turn it off and just play on the gamepad. The Wii U was completely designed for, and could you imagine not using something for its intended purposes?
What, you don't make toast in the sink either?
You may be asking yourself, why haven't I shown anything in relation to the gamepad yet? Well, because what am I supposed to show? This the entire time? Only one person who wants to capture footage off of that. In terms of the Nintendo Switch version, this is just one of those things where clearly it's the superior version in every way, shape, and form. And it kind of makes me upset because the Wii U could have had complete unique functionality that would set it apart from its successor, giving someone reason to visit this again and maybe enjoy it in a unique and different way. I mean, thankfully this is a one-off shoot. Nintendo didn't put another Zelda game on the console that I could barely run, and they didn't really use the screen, and god damn it! Did they do it again? It makes no sense! This is the biggest reason I'm annoyed as a Wii U owner. I spent so much time in Hyrule Warriors, probably around 200 to 300 hours, because it was the only thing on the console at the time, outside of Smash Brothers, and I already beat that. I spent so much time on this version of the game, the only key difference is that the gamepad gives you co-op. One person's on the Wii U and the other person's on the TV, because that makes sense. But then again, if you had a Wii U, you didn't have any of these. People who want to actually play the game, you wouldn't recommend this kind of thing to anyone, especially since it's terrible on the gamepad. In fact, every game that runs anything on the gamepad, it's pretty terrible. The icing on the cake. The part where that it annoys me the most is I poured so much time and effort into the console release, they put it on the damn 3DS! Nintendo just said, wow, DLC is actually really good here. Let's reuse that in the Switch version, and combine everything together. All Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition was just the Wii U game, the DLC for the 3DS version, and they dumped it all together for one complete package, which I'm grateful for. But honestly, just waited a generation or two or something at the very least. On the plus side, the Switch version, you can actually switch between the characters on the battlefield, and a function that the Wii U actually did not have. So, tops off to them. Oh, you have people like me who are avid Hyrule Warrior fans who poured a lot of time into both the Wii U and 3DS version, only to get kicked in the teeth with the Switch version. Tell you what, sub goal of 750,000 and a Twitch affiliation, I will live stream the whole thing, recompleting Hyrule Warriors 100%. The Switch version. Try me, a corporate shill just like Link! I gotta say, Koei Tecmo dipping their hands to the Zelda franchise really surprised me and pretty much everyone in the gaming industry at the time. Having the Legend of Zelda format mixed with Dynasty Warriors of all things actually made for a wonderful mix. I can't even explain it, but it was so good that they decided to not only do it with Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, also make a completely new game on Switch, too.
But was there a company that truly didn't have much of a time to shine, and something that honestly just they could have done so much more but never had the chance to? I've been waiting to talk about this one.
Enter Pokken Tournament, which, again, needs very little introduction. It's Pokemon plus Tekken. Honestly, brilliant naming scheme. Couldn't have thought of a better one myself. Oh, what makes this game different than the Nintendo Switch version? Well, for starters, the Wii U version got an exclusive amiibo card. This can run you anywhere from 100 to whatever it is graded. I don't know, Pokemon Scalpers really suck these days, but I don't collect Pokemon cards, only getting the original ones that I lost when I was a kid. Totally follow my other channel to keep up with my journey on that one. Now, I do collect amiibo, and honestly, this Mewtwo amiibo card was right up my alley. It was cool, it was unique, and it was Gen 1! Again, as a Pokemon boomer myself, loving Pokemon only from Gen 1, and that's pretty much it, it was really exciting for me to see at the time, a completely original take. To my knowledge, this version hasn't actually appeared in any other Pokemon game. This brilliant amiibo get you. Well, scanning the amiibo is kinda useless now if you unlock the character at the end of the game. There's kinda no point. The amiibo card was just so that you could unlock the character a little early. But you had to constantly tap it if you turned off the console. You would lose the character, and you would lose all the stats. It really was just for bragging rights at that point. More as a band-aid over a problem as glorified DLC, which, again, is totally fine, but to keep reapplying the same band-aid over and over again, it gets a little yucky. So, in the end, just play Pokken Tournament, and that's pretty much it. It's completely exclusive to Pokken. It's a neat novelty, and it doesn't currently work in any other game. It doesn't work in Smash Brothers, it doesn't work in any other amiibo-related game. It gives you no exclusive goodies, solely gives you just money. Feels like a waste because the exclusive character is one of the coolest designs in my opinion, and in all honesty, it does nothing for the Switch version. No joke. So, what does the Switch version even have?
Literally everything else.
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch version has DLC characters from the arcade version of Pokken Tournament. Basically, in other words, this is the superior version. Things that weren't on the Wii U in the first place, and never actually came via DLC. Have any of the arcade machines near you in Japan, or, well, in America, I guess. I think there's a few here. There was no other way to play these characters, so I guess this was a dub for the Switch? What about Nintendo's flagship guy? I'm sure there's, like, something there that he has that the others don't.
Where's the Italian?
Well, look no further than Mario Kart. Right, we've been playing this one for over a decade. Mario Kart 8 was a pinnacle game that really revolutionized the franchise, and did so in a weird but interesting way. Basically everything Mario Kart 7 was, but in HD, with fantastic music. It's probably one of the best musical scores you've gotten from Mario Kart in years. The fact that this was on the Wii U made it all the more spectacular. It got DLC, and of course that was ported to the Switch version. This was the game to own outside of Smash Brothers if you had a Wii. In terms of exclusive content, that depends on what you call exclusive content, or things that are just missing from the whole Mario Kart experience. They shoehorned in battle mode only using a few stages, and on top of that, they were just genuine tracks. They weren't areas like they normally are, so in other words, you were just racing around the track with balloons, and it made awkward when you were trying to just turn or do something else. Or just completely go around circles the entire track. It was very cumbersome to actually play the battle mode on Mario Kart 8 originally, but on top of that, it was a terrible battle mode to begin with. Being exclusive to the Wii U version, though, God, is there anything else? There certainly has to be something here. Well, sort of. Singular item blocks. That's right, this version of Mario Kart 8 doesn't actually have double standard item blocks, things that were staple in other Mario Kart games. Ever since Double Dash, there were these 2 item blocks, and your character or driver would get 2 items to hold on to, giving you a more tactical advantage, being able to hold items behind you in defense, or holding on to them just because. See, this could either make it Mario Kart 8 on hard mode, or it could make it Mario Kart 8 with features. That's up to you, really. Slice it, these are both omitted either for time reasons or some kind of setback in comparison to the deluxe version, which had more tracks, which had the double dice block, and a better battle mode. I would consider the unique gameplay style of this to be something unique spin on the Mario Kart 8 formula, or just Mario Kart's formula in general, as this hasn't happened since older Mario Karts. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments, but this could also be just seen as an oversight by the developers. Even though we did get all the DLC in this version of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, DLC, better battle mode, and double dice block, what did the Wii U have other than the exclusions that made it unique? Well, we had stamps for Miiverse, that was kind of cool. Also a little horn for characters if you really wanted to do it that way, I guess. Instead of just pressing a button on your Switch controller, you could just cumbersomely use the gamepad. Really upset that the whole Miiverse thing didn't really transfer over to the Nintendo Switch, because it was a cute community thing that, in all honesty, I wish Nintendo continued. Instead, now we have
Paid Discord?
Yeah, the brownie points of collecting stamps on the Wii U version only went so far. Because of writing the script too, it's the 1-year anniversary of when they killed the online. Go show those consoles some love, because they've been around for years and they deserve that love. As much as I'm dunking on this console for being everything the Switch eventually became, it's honestly just, I guess, blind loyalty to this console and this generation. And on top of that, overall just being a Nintendo fan this generation, as it was the hardest for both the fans and Nintendo. But we stuck together. Community meetups where we would play 3DS and Wii U, and, you know, in all honesty, now I'm just a deadbeat out of college.
My parents are disappointed in me.
Speaking of deadbeats, the fact that Captain Toad got his own game is genuinely scary. Captain Toad originally started out as a character in Mario Galaxy, but soon became a fan favorite, appearing in Super Mario 3D World, offering puzzles and an explorative manner, where it's entirely necessary for that game's completion. I am so sorry, why is he here? Apparently people liked it so much that Nintendo decided to make a whole game about it. They put it on the 3DS, and then they put it on the Wii U. I'm noticing a trend here. Now this game can only be played on the Wii U gamepad, and that's honestly very unique considering the Switch version. It used the Wii U Pro controller, which was, to my complete surprise, like other games I've talked about, it actually fully utilized the fact that the Wii U gamepad existed. Though, I guess Nintendo finally caught up with the fact that no one liked playing on the Wii U gamepad, unless the game was integral to its design, which this really wasn't. See, it seems like a unique feature, but it's just terrible. So, let's talk about what's exclusive here. Actually, something very genuine. Super Mario 3D World content. Around this time, this game was, well, originally based on the minigames from Mario 3D World, so some of the minigames are actually represented here with them. Mini-games, but in all honesty, it was just a couple set of levels that didn't really add much in terms of story, they were just a unique add-on. Genuinely one of those games that actually had unique content to it that can't be found anywhere else. Can't believe finding exclusive content solely came from this little niche game here. Outside of the Wii U, this would literally be considered lost media. We'll have to stream this to an audience of people who actually enjoy this kind of stuff. Again, let me know down below, do you think this is worthwhile? Well, then what's Captain Toad Treasure Tracker like on the Nintendo Switch? Maybe some more Mario 3D World content? Honestly, couldn't tell you. It's not like there's a big sticker on the box that tells me what's there. I mean, I couldn't tell you. So, the only way to access this content is to either beat the main game, which I haven't done, or use the Super Mario Odyssey amiibo to unlock content early. Come to think of it, this is the first time I've used amiibo for DLC, which was basically its intended and original use. I basically meant to use this for DLC. Like other games where it gets you goodies or something like that, this actually provides you content. Does anyone count the 3DS version, though?
No.
Since Captain Toad got his own spin-off game based off the minigame in Mario 3D World, I'm happy to report that Super Mario 3D World is also a Switch port from the Wii U.
Why am I not surprised?
Now, in terms of exclusive content, the only thing exclusive to this, the Wii U version, is how slow the characters are here. Other than that, the last thing I can truly think about, the gamepad, get this, to stun enemies.
Oh, yeah, be a good little Goomba. Stay still for me.
Captain Toad also had this feature. Even though it was part of the main gameplay mechanic, it's still worth mentioning here, I guess. Calling this exclusive content or any kind of exclusive feature, however, this game did have the stamp system for Miiverse, which, oh my god, why is this lost to time?
Huh, so this is what being old feels like. Now what the heck is this?
And this is one of those features that seems arbitrary and exclusive at first, which, again, it kind of is, but I still think it counts in some way that should be preserved and mentioned about in a fairly unique way. It could be reworked. I mean, I don't know, if the Switch 2 decided to have lock-on technology or something where there would be a DS attachment or something, I'd see these features coming back in a very unique way. I admit, reworking systems like this is admittedly hard, but it's no stranger to something Nintendo's done before. Porting games to other consoles can be a little more daunting at times, but in my opinion, it's not as bad as making a whole new game, which is why they basically did it! Bowser's Fury is a strange yet satisfying thing that just exists in Mario 3D plus Bowser's Fury. Combining things that feel more like Mario Odyssey, if Mario Galaxy didn't already perfect the 3D Mario formula, this would have been the closest we had. However, after all this, I mean, come on, there's a reason Mario Galaxy perfected the formula. They did it twice. I think this mode is fine, it definitely justifies the price hike, and it actually adds new content. Made the characters a little faster, frame rate's a bit better. It added fixes to the original game that didn't necessarily need to be, but it's certainly welcomed. Although, other than just hardware limitations, the Switch really carried this one here, because this was one of those ones where people were a little annoyed they had to buy the same game twice. So Nintendo actually had to give us content here outside of just, oh, this is Mario 3D World, but better. Can't say the same for New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. So, what did this do that was so different? Well, starters, this was the year of Luigi when the Wii U was around. Blessed Luigi being around for 30 years. His first game outside of being a Ghostbuster. They took New Super Mario Bros. U, jam-packed so much more content into it, added a new playable character, and made the timer even faster. The biggest difference between New Super Mario Bros. U plus New Super Luigi U and the Wii U version over the Nintendo Switch version is 5-player co-op. That's right. You would be able to utilize the gamepad, and for up to 4 other people plus someone on the gamepad. Honestly, it was revolutionary. To me, if you had friends for this, which I don't, if you sit down and actually play the game, as Nintendo intended, it's probably one of the funnest experiences you can have. If you had a group of Nintendo friends and fans sitting around playing on the couch, it seems like pure mayhem. It seems like fun. This was also one of the last true generations where co-op on the couch was a big thing that was marketed from companies, or rather I guess just Nintendo, coming off the Wii hype train, hoping that the market of families were still there, being able to sit on the couch and play video games. Now, what do we have on the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe version?
So, that was some of the difference between the Wii U and Switch ports of some of these Nintendo games. I really can't say there was much of a difference, so much as there were graphical improvements, say outside for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which, really had some exclusive content, but it was mainly just gameplay, and that's it, really. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get to do games like Xenoblade Chronicles X or Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, seeing as I only have one of each version, and I didn't feel it was right to not review those if I didn't have both copies, because it just didn't seem authentic to me. That in mind, though, in terms of games that are exclusive to the Nintendo Wii U, that should really be its own game, and, as the Switch 2 is coming out, I feel like it's a good time to go over those exclusive games. But, God, I don't want it, because some of them are really not great. I mean, there's Nintendo Land, which is fantastic, but then... Sorry, it stinks a little. We got things like... What's on there? No, I don't know what that... What is that? Someone tell me what that is? I don't know what that is. Weird. I just tell you, but... Anyway, yeah, oh, it still stinks. Anyway, with that in mind, guys, I think this console really is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and it, again, is a part of a lot of our childhoods, and I really think it deserves a lot of love and respect for starting a lot of, well, the Switch 2, Asus, the Steam Deck even. Just a lot of portable consoles started because of this thing right here. And for all it's worth, it is cool. I'm sorry, I still like the concept. Terrible execution, though. Hey y'all, so I actually wanted to just talk about this bread real quick because it is very healthy and it is very limited on the ingredient list. Having things like organic wheat flour, sourdough culture, organic enzymes, that kind of stuff. It doesn't have a lot of the chemicals that normal bread, like, say, Wonder Bread has, which gives it a longer shelf life and basically makes it so that it'll never rot. This bread is from Sprouts, and in all honesty, it's probably the best one to have if you still want to incorporate carbs. Now listen, you could still incorporate carbs in a diet, but I'm sorry, it makes more sense to have fresh food. And if anyone's against fresh food, well, why? Anyway, that's your health tip for today. Okay, love you all.